At a live shot of the city as we begin day 2 of the massive power outage. Millions throughout the area are still without electricity. Our coverage begins now.
And also, subway service has been canceled indefinitely. We'll help you get where you need to go. And also, the best advice, stay home.
And if you are watching us from home, you are one of the lucky ones, which means you have had power restored, or you've got some great batteries on a portable TV. Thousands of people, however, remain stranded in a city and elsewhere. You can see a shot there of people actually sleeping on the street. I believe that's from Penn Station. A lot of people have just gone outside, if they're either stranded at Penn Station or just from their apartments, just getting outside completely.
All right, at Penn Station, as well as we saw at the post office, some people who have just taken their briefcase, laid it on the side of the on the sidewalk, put their head on it, and called it a day.
Wherever they can find a place to rest.
And you think of all the people that have certainly been trying to reach their loved ones, all the cross lines with cellular phones. Have you ever seen this many people line up at a regular phone booth again?
It's incredible.
Right,
it's
it
incredible
really is.
Because if you don't have like a regular plug-in phone, you can plug into a jack, you're relying on a cell phone, and the cell phones don't work.
Absolutely.
There's really no way to get a hold of anyone.
It's been a rough one, but it's interesting to see so many people that have, once again, been neighborly, come together, partied, and just rode it out. Still, we're trying to figure out how all of this started with the major grid problem that goes across the northeastern seaboard, involving so many different areas.
50 million people, actually 1 in 5 Americans affected by this all along the eastern seaboard. It's just a tremendous, tremendous power outage.
Crippling, of course, the area for some 12 hours now. Manhattan lights continue to be out. NJ Burkett tries to bring us up to date now on exactly what happened.
Looters took to the streets in some neighborhoods overnight, and after more than 8 hours of darkness, America's largest police force was stretched to the limit. Across the city, New Yorkers abandoned their sweltering apartments and partied into the night on street corners and neighborhood bars. And this was the scene outside Penn Station, where hundreds of commuters simply gave up on getting home. It began at 4:10 Thursday afternoon, a chain reaction power failure that swept the Northeast. Office workers poured into the streets, traffic lights went out, and gridlock gripped Manhattan.
How would you describe traffic in the city right now?
Chaos. Complete chaos.
Subways stopped dead in their tracks, and thousands were stranded underground. They inched their way along the walls, staggering blindly through the tunnels in total darkness. They relied on pen lights, lighters, even the light from our TV camera.
So it was just a really terrible experience for me. I never want to go through nothing like this again. I'm all shaken up. I just want to get home and hug my family.
Con Ed's power grid is managed from this war room on the west side. And after more than 12 hours, the cause of the blackout was still not clear.
I am asking that question, New Yorkers are, and I'm confident we're going to work until we get the answers to it.
At one point, the FAA suspended air traffic into and out of New York City. But the 911 system held up under enormous strain. And so did New Yorkers. People like Pamela Vitale, who joined her neighbors in Tribeca, directing traffic.
Do you know anything about directing traffic?
No, it's just trying to help the neighborhood because it's just a little too chaotic here and people are crazy. They don't pay attention to anything. So we're just trying to do our bit.
So people ended up saying they had a hidden talent after all.
She's a quick study. Very quick study. It's been really just an amazing night, and it's going to be a very interesting morning with people trying to commute into the city, which we've already mentioned, probably not a good idea.
In fact, we even heard Mayor Bloomberg say, if you don't have to come into the city, stay home, have that 3-day weekend.
Right. Treat it like a snow day.
Right, start all over. Isn't that strange? Just treat it as a snow day in the middle of August. Easier said than done. Let's go to Cynthia Guaba now, who is in Washington Heights with more on the commute. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Lisa. As you said, we're at the George Washington bus station here in Washington Heights, and right now the doors aren't open. They're closed. They're not scheduled to be open until 5 o'clock this morning, we believe, but commuters already tell me that they don't anticipate the doors here will open at all. Some of them have already taken livery cabs to get to wherever it is that they're going, and others just say they anticipate this morning's commute is going to be just as bad as the one last night. Thousands of people won't forget the night they spent trying to sleep or just stay safe jammed onto the sidewalk outside Penn Station and on the steps of the General Post Office. They're praying for the first train home. This morning, Mayor Bloomberg says people should think of this as a snow day. Forget about coming into the city unless it's absolutely necessary. Buses are running, but they're not worth running for. There are no trains to connect with. And the buses that do run will be crawling through traffic. Walking this morning remains the main mode of transportation. The LIRR and Metro North are not running. And the subway system is in total disarray. There is no subway service. The trains that ground to a halt yesterday afternoon remain stranded in tunnels citywide. The Transit Authority says it will need 6 to 8 hours to straighten out the signals and switching system once power is fully restored. The MTA says it took 2.5 hours to evacuate 400 trains without any deaths or serious injuries, but with plenty of grime.
We were coming past West 4th Street and the power just went out and everybody got stuck.
There's definitely some people, a couple cars behind. By the time they got onto the tracks, were like hyperventilating and having some panic attacks. One guy, his friends had to sit him down here because he was shaking so bad and he was really freaking out.
For some people, it took hours to get to the surface, through tunnels, along walkways, over tracks, past rats. By the time they got to the surface, some people seemed burned out.
It was just the not knowing. You know, if we'd been told it would be 2 hours and the fire department on their way, it'd be fine, but it just got hotter and hotter and I didn't know what was happening.
Now on to the airports. LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark have canceled all takeoff flights, and that's mainly because the passenger screening machines aren't working. For now, we're live in Washington Heights. Cynthia Gualba, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Cynthia, thank you.
We're talking about the commute. So many people didn't get home last night.
Right.
And are still stranded in the city. John Del Giorno, Newscopter 7 over Penn Station. This is just an incredible sight.
It's an amazing picture. You saw the picture at the very beginning of Cynthia's piece, and we went off the air earlier this morning at about 2 o'clock, and it was the shot that we left you with. So let's come back to it. We'll see how things have changed outside of Penn Station. Live pictures now from Newscopter 7. You're looking down on the front door of Penn Station, and there are